only closing at the end versus micro closes throughout your DM and sales conversations. So what this looks like is waiting until the end and saying, do you have any questions? Does this make sense? Versus throughout your entire conversation saying like, are these the type of results that sound like you are interested in? Would this be helpful? Does this sound like something you're ready for? You absolutely sound like somebody who's committed. You're my kind of people.
What's up, and welcome back to the Scale Your Sales podcast. I am your host and your soon-to-be podcast BFF, Jillian Murphy. If you are absolutely exhausted of hearing the same podcast that only leaves you feeling motivated and just a bunch of fluff, well, you have absolutely landed on the right podcast today. In this episode, we are going to talk about the most important skill you need to generate your business, and that is sales. We are going to dive into topics such as messaging, marketing, how to build lead generation organically, and we are going to talk about how to create consistent cash months inside of your business. And we are also going to talk about how to build a company that isn't just about making money, but is also bringing in actual wealth, while getting back to what I know is your most important thing, time freedom. Now, I am here for real talk, real advice, straightforward tip, and no BS. You can always walk away and implement everything that we talk about in our show and move it into your business immediately. But I have to tell you, I am not your typical business mentor. We are going to talk about things that nobody else is probably talking about on the internet. We are going to talk about what it takes to build a real company and not just about how to manifest your business or how you can make $1 million tomorrow. But if that's what you're looking for, this podcast is absolutely not for you. We are going to talk about the real skills to build a real business. Now, I have spent over 25 years in the corporate sales space, generating over $100 million in sales through multiple industries in the online and the brick and mortar space. I have been able to help over 500 entrepreneurs not only grow their sales, but scale their businesses. Several times per week, I'm going to bring you solo episodes, guest episodes, and even hot seat coaching so that you are able to scale your sales. Now, grab a pen and paper, your beverage of choice, and let's freaking go.
What's up, babes? Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited to talk to you guys today. We've done a couple solo episodes in a row, and I don't know about you, but I'm kind of loving the solo episodes. I mean, yes, I love when I bring my girlies on the podcast, and I love when I bring some of my boys on the podcast, but sometimes it feels really good to just like grab the mic and chat with you guys about whatever it is I have on my mind or whatever it is I feel like you guys really need to talk about. But today is going to be an episode on the most common sales mistakes that I feel business owners and entrepreneurs are making in their business. So I want you guys to grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, grab your phone, grab your notes app, whatever it is that you guys need to take some notes, because not only am I going to teach on today's podcast, but I want to make sure that you guys are actually taking this away and implementing it into your business and seeing where you actually have the gaps so that you can go back to the drawing board and do some work. So let's dive in. So the number one thing that I see happen on sales calls is you are absolutely not listening enough. You are asking a question to your potential client or potential lead, and this can happen in a sales call, but this can also happen in a DM conversation. And not only are you not listening enough, but you're really quick to jump in and want to solve that problem for them. When really what you need to do is dive in more to the actual challenge, the actual problem, and the actual thing that they're on the call with in the first place. So I'm going to give you an example. And this example is really top of mind because I actually just got off of a one-on-one coaching call with one of my clients today. And this was actually something that we were working on with her. We were diving through her discovery calls, her connection calls, her sales calls. And I use this as an example. So let's say you are on a sales call or a DM conversation with somebody, and they are challenged with acne. And acne is something that they are on the call with because they want you to solve this problem for them. So the number one question that I want you to ask someone is, tell me how long you've been challenged with X, Y, and Z. So in this case, tell me how long you've been challenged with acne. Now the person's going to say, I've been challenged with acne for 15 years. Most people would go on to the next question. I want you to stay on this question and I want you to unpeel and I want you to go deeper into the question. And you're going to say something like, 15 years. I am so sorry to hear that. Let's definitely make sure it's not another 15 years. Can you tell me what it's felt like over the last 15 years so that I can kind of paint a picture in my mind? They're going to start to tell you, I haven't been able to leave the house without makeup. I haven't felt sexy or attractive in front of my partner. I haven't felt pretty in photos. I've always had to use a filter, right? Whatever it is that they are saying. Then from there, you're going to start to say something like, what would it feel like if that was no longer the case? Well, it would feel really good. It would feel really good if I was able to feel really good in my body. It would feel really good if I felt pretty again. It would feel great if I was able to leave the house without makeup because I spend so much time getting ready for things when I want to just leave the house with my toddlers, right? And you're going to say, okay, so let me ask you a question. It sounds like we're at a little bit of a fork in the road. Do you want to go back to feeling X, Y, and Z, how you used to feel? Or are you ready to move forward and feel a different way? Then they're going to most likely say 99.9% of the time, I'm ready to feel a different way. You're going to say, awesome. Well, it sounds like we don't even really need to move much farther along in this call because we've already figured out where you need to be. No, I'm just kidding. Let's, of course, finish the rest of our call. But what you're doing is you're getting them to buy into the fact of where they want to go. You guys pause this episode, go back and re-listen to that. That was gold right there. That line that I just gave you will make you tens of thousands of dollars on your sales calls or in your DMs. Thank me later for that one. Number two is you are not giving enough value in advance before you actually tell somebody how much it is to work with you. So maybe somebody's like, hey, I'm really challenged with acne. And you're like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Let me tell you how my program helps you. So my program helps you by blank, 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 blank. You haven't even given them any value in advance. You want to give them some tips, some suggestions, some things that they can do. Value in advance is huge when it comes to selling. You want people to have such a huge value perception of you that by the time you say it's $3,000, it's $5,000, it's $10,000, it's $20,000, $100,000, right? Whatever your price point is, they're like, I can't believe this is what it is to work with this person. I thought it was going to be so much more. Number three, sharing the price versus sharing the value. So many of you guys are saying it's $3,000 to work with me versus when we work together, this is what'll happen. It's $4,000 to work with me versus the transformation that my clients have during the time we work together is this. Huge difference. Absolutely huge. I was recently on a call with somebody that I hired to help me with my webinars, and it wouldn't have mattered if this guy was $1 million. I mean, it would have mattered if he was $1 million. I'm a little exaggerating, but you guys get the point. He gave me so much value on this call, and he was so valuable to me that by the time he gave me the price point, I basically had one hand on my credit card ready to buy. That takes care of number 2 and number 3. Number 4 is you're not following up. So you probably have people right now that you've done a sales call with, you've had a DM conversation with, they've told you they need to purchase from you, they told you there's challenge or struggled with A, B, and C, and you've never followed up with them. This is called a dead lead in sales. And it's your job to go back. This is also called scrubbing your lead list in sales. So you go back and you scrub the list and you try to drum up new conversations. And it can look something like this. Hey, Jillian, you actually came across my mind today. I know that the last time that we had a conversation, you mentioned that you were really looking to generate more leads in your business. I was thinking about you today. How have things been going since the last time we talked? That's it. Simple as that. Again, pause this episode, go back and replay that sentence, and I promise you, I absolutely promise you, that line will make you tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars when you implement it and when you go back to your dead leads. Only closing at the end versus micro closes throughout your DM and sales conversations. So what this looks like is waiting until the end and saying, do you have any questions? Does this make sense? Versus throughout your entire conversation saying like, are these the type of results that sound like you are interested in? Would this be helpful? Does this sound like something you're ready for? You absolutely sound like somebody who's committed. You're my kind of people. I was on a sales call today with somebody and it didn't go great, I'll be honest. But one of the very first things that happened on the beginning of the sales call was we connected on something personal. And you know what I said? I said, you're my kind of people. And what I know about my kind of people is they're action takers. So I'm super excited to be on this call with you today. Now, just because it didn't go well on the call today, that doesn't mean anything. She'll come into my world and I have no doubt that she will. But that's a micro close versus closing at the end. Not knowing who you are selling to. There are multiple different buyer types. And when you know who you are selling to, you can absolutely mirror everything about the sales conversation. Are they analytical? Are they dominant? Are they expressive? Do they need some more time? Do they operate in their feminine? Do they operate in their masculine? All of those things are so important when you're selling. And the last one is not knowing how to ever transition out of the friend zone into the close. So maybe this is you right now on the podcast, and you say to yourself, I'm in this conversation with somebody and I'm not sure what to say. Or I'm in a conversation with somebody and I feel like I'm motivating them and inspiring them, but how do I transition into asking them about my services? When you know how to sell and you know how to transition, the close becomes so much easier. You guys, I want you to take some time. I want you to go back through this episode and I want you to ask yourself, where are you the most challenged? And then I say this on every podcast. When you're ready, you absolutely should grab a spot into Infinity. Infinity is our 6-month mentorship program where I teach you every single thing you need to know about messaging. Messaging that attracts your ideal client to you like a magnet. Content. Content that converts to cash versus content that's leaving you as crickets. High-level mentorship with me so that you basically have a sales ninja in your pocket for anything that comes up. A sales conversation, a DM conversation, sales copy, questions that you have, offers, creation, pricing, any of those things, you literally have me in your back pocket. A community that is unlike anything else. A community that's full of people that you can do market research with, you can collaborate with, you can network with. And I say this all the time, your ideal clients are in my room. And I want you to get business in my community. I want you to be the gut health expert in my space. I want you to be the go-to tech company. I want you to be the person that people are seeking out for mindset. So when you're ready, not if, but when you're ready to go all in and get off the revenue roller coaster and learn more about sales and to really take your business to the next level, Infinity is absolutely the place for you.
Thank you so much for tuning into the Scale Your Sales podcast. If today's episode has you fired up, would you do me a huge favor and leave a review over on Apple or Spotify podcast? Or, of course, you can always take a screenshot and share it on your social media. That is the way we grow this show, and so that other people can absolutely learn how to grow their sales as well. I am on a mission to change the mindset of sales. I want people to freaking love sales because the reality is sales is the foundation of everything you do. It's how your business generates revenue consistently. So remember, keep showing up and being unapologetic about selling, because once you fall in love with selling, the sky is absolutely the limit. Until next time, happy selling, and my DMs are always open. I can't wait to get to know you better.